Okay, so now let's gear shift out of macro market land and go deeply into the data that we find in our Chapter 2 report. So to kick us off, what should surprise no one, hopefully, is that customs in terms of processing all of this volume with new duties and taxes to collect is slowing down. So specifically, if you look over on the right-hand chart, you've got 5 countries here. All of them are seeing significant increases in customs holds or delays. The number 1 country being Mexico. If everybody rewinds into December of 2024, so right before 2025 kicked off, you all might recall that Mexico had some pretty significant changes to what's known as their IMMEX program. So Mexico had a policy and a program called IMMEX to drive more labor benefit out of Mexico by bringing goods in from outside of Mexico and using their talent, their labor, to add value to those imports before exporting. And so all of the IMMEX changes to stop that or change the license certification to get IMMEX licenses really highlights the gear in Mexico of them slowing down as they made significant changes to this program. Ratna, do you want to bring anything else to life on the IMMEX world?
Not necessarily IMEX, but just in general, I think this corroborates what we were talking about in terms of just borders becoming less porous. What does that mean? It means actually customs scrutiny is higher. In general, some of the hardest countries to import into are Italy and India. India has actually seen some of that easing due to their processes becoming more automated. But in general, you're seeing that all other countries, the scrutiny is just increasing. And that means there's higher degree of accuracy necessary, more granular declarations also necessary to get through customs clearance in a timely manner.
Fantastic.
Okay.
All right, what else did we learn? There has been volume decline on a global basis because of the tariffs for kind of 5 top commodities. So if we looked at protein powder, vitamin supplement called biotin, some antihistamine, some petroleum jelly, some shampoos. So these are kind of 5 of the top HS codes that we see. On a global basis, you can see every single one of them has been negatively impacted. So there's less volume being sold around the world. And then what's really of note is if you look at the right-hand column, where these HS codes, where these products are made, when they're made in the United States, so country of origin, United States, made in the USA, and going into Canada, you see stuff like biotin, petroleum jelly, and shampoo actually more negatively impacted, meaning selling even less volume than the global benchmark in the middle, due to Canada's reciprocal tariffs on made in the USA goods. Okay, and remember, folks, those made in the USA goods can be shipped from the USA to Canada, or they could be made in the USA goods sitting in the UK and being shipped into Canada. So like those countries, the COO matters. Okay, Ratna.
Yeah, so let's deep dive into country of origin. So in our data, one of the things that you see on the right is in Flavor Cloud Network, what is the composition that we see? A significant 38, almost 39% is US made goods, and 34% is China. And then you've got the rest of the world in terms of where products are manufactured. That's our network data. Now, the graph on the left, the pie shows what is the composition of an order. So typically, do you have a mix of commodities from two different countries is what this data is showing us. And around 7% have more than one country of origin in the mix. So what that really means is if there is scrutiny, let's say on a made in China combined with a made in another country, then there is going to be, a formal clearance process and tariff applied to that commodity that is made in China, for example. But it could still cause delays in terms of customs clearance and scrutiny. So that's essentially the takeaway. And for now, de minimis is something that is very specific to China, but this is something that we will be watching as that changes with the new bill.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of our merchants, and they said, "Gosh, all the stuff I import, I tend to have two SKUs per order, and 90% of the time, one of them is made in China." And so they literally use the word, and I don't know if everyone on the webinar today is saying the same things, but these made in China SKUs in a mixed shipment order become really poison pills, right? From a processing standpoint, from a duties and taxes standpoint. So just wanted to share that anecdote.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. And this is purely if you're looking at a single origin, so really country of manufacture, then you can kind of see, again, US, China, and you'd see rest of the world. There's, multiple countries involved there. I think we mentioned this earlier. The country of origin is really important, along with the value of goods. Because a product, just because it is transshipped or essentially moving through a country does not change the country of origin. And also, there are some very specific regulations on what constitutes as being, if you were to simply embellish a product, if you were to add a sticker on a t-shirt, that does not qualify as being manufactured in that country. So there are some very specific, regulatory compliance aspect that goes into evidence of something having been manufactured in China versus the country that it's shipped through. Okay, next one. This is, going deeper into country of origin and why it matters. I think we talked a lot about, US origin goods and then Chinese origin goods. Typically, what we see in our data is that for health and wellness, it's overwhelmingly US made in our data. So you can kind of see on the chart on the top left, it's 62% is US. And similarly, if you look at the bottom right, beauty and cosmetics, again, has US really being the main country of manufacturing. And if you look at, the household goods and other categories, you'll see that Chinese origin is much more significant. Again, in apparel, China tends to be a bigger factor. So overall, it really matters where the country of origin, where goods are manufactured, because obviously the tariff implications are very much associated with the country that you're manufacturing in and sourcing from.